that it will be passed into law very shortly. Thank you.
I'll call Jan Logie.
Thank you, Madam Speaker. I too rise to take a fairly short call on the second reading for the Accident Compensation Amendment Bill to help speed this through its progress. We'll see if we can get it passed tonight, this is a bill that it makes minor changes, really. They were initiated by the previous national government under the then Minister Michael Woodhouse, and was initially intended, I understand, to be part of a regulatory bill, not actually deserving of a bill in themselves. But this has, I understand, has been a good submission process in the Select Committee, and that did provide the opportunity for people who have concerns outside of the scope of this legislation in relation to ACC to raise those concerns to this Parliament, which I think was of benefit to all of us. And I am sure the members on the side of the House who heard those submissions will be feeding those through for consideration on the government's agenda. And I would note that had support from the opposition as well, so I look forward to their support for progressive ACC legislation in the future. And it's just a shame that after the horror years, and many horror years under their watch in relation to ACC, that now they've come to the view that we need to listen to people. Would have been nice if they'd come to that view 10 years ago. So what this bill does, to really briefly recap, is it clarifies that the current provisions to ensure that all claimants who are close to or above New Zealand superannuation age receive up to 22 months of weekly compensation, and removes the election requirement for ACC claimants to choose between compensation, weekly compensation or New Zealand super. And it allows surviving spouses to receive up to 5 years of weekly compensation regardless of age, and removes the requirement for an other dependent to elect between weekly compensation and New Zealand superannuation. Moves from an annual review to a biennial review of the accident compensation, and enables maximum and minimum liable earnings to be specified by a method linking it to the minimum wage and labour costs index respectively to improve the workability of that levy. So all pretty technical changes that will make a difference in some people's lives and others will not notice at all. And the Green Party is happy to support this legislation.
I call Denise Lee.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. It's my pleasure to add